Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr.
Don't mind
Abati.
the people discussing your
Look,
private life.
Oh, these people.
Ikenna, please don't forget to flash the photo.
Ikenna, don't try it. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
Don't mind the monitoring spirits of Arise News.
Okay, I just...
Ikenna, flash the photo.
Let's monitor oil prices. Oil prices have been range bound in the below $80 region. Not much to talk about here. I mean, it's no difference from what we discussed yesterday. 77.30 for Brent crude, 73.60 for West Texas. We go to Asia. It is the Lunar New Year holiday. So there are a number of Asian markets that are closed today. Yeah, China is closed, Taiwan is closed, South Korea is closed, Hong Kong is closed. So that means we just had a few markets to look at for Asia. We just picked, I think, 3 of them. So yeah, Nikkei 225 in Japan, that's still open, up 97 basis points. The Nifty 50 in India. There's also the Sensex in India, but we just picked the Nifty 50. And then the ASX 200 in Australia. Those are up as well. Moving on from there, ASML, which is in Europe, the Dutch semiconductor, the chip maker, released earnings that beats expectations. Net sales 9.3 billion, estimates were 9.07. The net bookings, which is very important, that is how many chips are you booking from how many chips are customers booking from you, came out to 7.1 billion euros. Almost half of that was EUV, which is extreme ultraviolet lithography, which is basically a practice of designing semiconductor wafers, which are used in producing microchips. So it just shows that a lot of demand came from those high-end chips, which are used in these AI data centers. Net profit 2.7 billion. 35% year-on-year growth from the fourth quarter of 2023. And then from the CEO of, this is Christophe, what is Christophe's last name? Christophe Fouquet, President and CEO of ASML, said, consistent with our view from the last quarter, the growth in artificial intelligence is the key driver for growth in our industry. It has created a shift in the market dynamics that is not benefiting all of our customers equally, which creates both opportunities and risks as reflected in our 2022 revenue. And they raised that revenue range, I think, slightly to 7.5 billion euros for the first quarter. So from there, we go on to the U.S. markets. They did rebound. Remember, Dr. Bate was talking about how they crashed, the day before because of Deepseek, but they did come back a bit. The Nasdaq, remember, it fell 3%, so it rebounded up by 2%. S&P 500 up, Dow Jones. This was yesterday. I think futures are pointing to a positive open today. And from the markets, we go on to Deepseek, which of course is, what to watch today. Today is a big day. I think Rachel Reeves might be speaking in about 2 minutes, Chancellor of the Exchequer. Then you've got earnings from Tesla, you've got earnings from Meta, you've got earnings from Microsoft, and again, the Federal Reserve concludes its meeting. I don't know if you guys watched Trump's press secretary press briefing yesterday. The place was packed with reporters. I expect that the Fed meeting today is going to be packed as well. They're expecting a hold. I mean, I don't know how you can cut any further with where things are. So they're expecting a hold because of the inflationary impact of potential inflationary impact of Trump's policies. Deepseek still making the news. I mean, I think this was expected. Microsoft and OpenAI are probing them, suggesting that there's an allegation of distillation. Distillation is a process whereby you take the output from a large language model and use it to train a smaller model. So basically, because DeepSeek came out saying that they use only $6 million, this man, David Sachs, who is Trump's AI and crypto star, he was on Fox News, I think it was yesterday, saying that, accusing them of intellectual property theft. Microsoft and OpenAI are now saying that back in autumn of last year, late 2024, they saw evidence of possible distillation taking place with their models. They said they blocked it. So now they're coming out and saying that this is the case. And I understand, I don't know if it's the US Navy or some part of the US has apparently closed it down, not allowing their members to use it. So of course, and again, Dr. Abati talked about this yesterday, the outcome of this as to whether or not a repeat of what happened with TikTok will happen with Deepseek. So Nigeria, MTN held a media chat yesterday to talk about the 50% tariff increase, which has not been implemented. The telcos have not received it, but also that the Nigerian Communications Commission says that they want to see an improvement in service quality, and they want to see that. Ayo, of course, has advocated for that quite a lot over the next 3 months. So it was an hour and a half, and we talked about Deepseek so much, but here's just a snippet of one, Carl Toriola, MTN Nigeria CEO, talking about improvement in service quality, and then two, the deregulation, full deregulation of the telco sector to where they don't have to ask for permission to be, raising prices. But here it is.
The first thing is for us to demonstrate to the authorities that with this 50%, we are going to improve quality of service. That has been made explicitly clear by the Honourable Minister and the EVC of the NCC, that they need to see substantial movement in quality of service within months. I think as we demonstrate that, we can now bring our other issues to the table, but there has to be a quid pro quo. The authorities did not approve this without us being held accountable on quality of service, and that's going to be a big drive. And then once we demonstrate that and see the sustainability of the industry coming through, then we can have further discussions around tariffs.
During President Tinubu's media chat, he was asked about price controls. The president himself said he does not believe in price control.
I don't believe in it. Sorry. I don't believe in price control.
How do you think the conversation should go forward in terms of having a totally liberalized market in Nigeria as far as price controls are concerned?
I think His Excellency the President's policy direction is clear, and you can see from everything that he's done that he believes in full liberalization of this economy towards free market economics. I think this initial tariff increase is the first step, and we're going to see more of that, and eventually the change of the Nigerian Communications Act to fully liberalize tariff setting in Nigeria.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much our update. Essentially, to be seeking permission every time you have to raise prices is just not part of what a fully free market is. This is the same thing we had with pure fuel, so, we'll see how things go.
I mean, the truth has to be said. See, I also hear that some of the subscribers, association of subscribers, have gone to court.
Sarah went to court.
For me, the truth has to be said. See, this is a business. And I'm socialist in my head, but I'm also a rational capitalist. People need investments to be able to shore up any business. How will they get that money? They'll get it from the services. So the other day, somebody was telling me and saying, oh, MTN used to make a lot of profit. I said, but they're not making losses. I now went further by telling them, do you know how much MTN has in debt in commercial papers?
Right.
And all these telecom companies? So it's not easy on them. So forget the fact that you see their books and everything. But what about the debts too? They're also carrying on their books, which they invest in. Dollar debts, which they invest in infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we also need to meet them halfway. And this is 12 years. Price increase, what we talked about many months before now. It's not been done, even many years before now. Now you now have inflation of about 34%. It's really very problematic. You see, Rotus, my pain is that in all this AI talk, we are talking semiconductors. We're never here in Nigeria one language model. That's the shocking thing.
We're dealing with connectivity.
Infrastructure. Float that picture.
We're still dealing with issues. I'm very happy to hear that NCC is playing its role. I'd often talked about how they must play their role as regulators and protect the interests of Nigerians, including the FCCPC. And the fact that their approval of the 50% hike is tied to improved connectivity is fantastic. He said, according to the reports, that they are able to meet the 3 months deadline they've been given. Yeah. But I hope the MTN CEO is speaking a lot, and the Airtel CEO. I hope the other companies would also, even cutting down on bogus promises that are made through adverts, right, and then customers are shortchanged. Only recently they were trending for the fact that the 15 gig data is not actually 15 gig because what you're spending, is what you're using does not in any way amount to 15 gig. So we need to investigate those errors. He also says, like the chicken and egg situation, that more funding means better infrastructure, right, better services, but the NCC is saying demonstrates better connectivity and then we can justify the increase in tariffs. I think that's a fair deal, and if even they want to do it. With regards to Deepseek, the National Security Council of the U.S. have also waded in saying they're looking at the national security implications, and the Navy, U.S. Navy, has actually warned their members not to use, that they're saying ethical issues around that.
So
they're saying, so it's exactly the way of TikTok. I think they're going to go, OpenAI is meeting with the presidency to discuss this distillation matter, so the U.S. is not keeping quiet about it.
They can gather our data from Twitter.
No, it's fair, it's America. Once China is doing it,
they can gather information from Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But one China does is the problem.
Okay, yesterday, with regard to Deepseek, I said, look, we should look out for what Congress is going to say. And that are we going to have a TikTok situation again? Because what Deepseek represents for the United States is what is called a Sputnik moment. an awakening, a wake-up call, as President Trump puts it. And already, U.S. Navy has issued a statement to those they call shipmates. In the email, they said, for security and ethical reasons, shipmates should not use Deepseek, either for official reasons or for personal reasons. That's that about that. The second thing is that the Fed is meeting for the first time since Trump assumed office second term, this week. And we're expecting from the FOMC a statement by 2 p.m. Eastern Time today. Now, Trump is not likely to get what he wants. Last Thursday, Trump told the whole world to go and lower interest rates. But the U.S. Central Bank is not likely to take that decision. Right. Robert Kaplan, former Dallas Fed governor, says, well, he thinks that they will hold steady. Between the policy range will be between 4.25 and 4.5%. And that is what you should expect. And that, in any case, for the Fed to take any other decision, it will have to wait till June, when it will be clear what Donald Trump is doing with tariffs, with trade, and also with immigration. And I think that makes perfect sense. You mentioned Tesla. Now, Tesla is going to announce its fourth quarter earnings today. But there is a forum where, what's his name? Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, relates with shareholders. Now, over 100 of them are concerned about his work with the Department of Government Efficiency. And they are asking him, what is going to happen to Tesla? What is going to happen to shareholder value? How much time is he devoting to his work in Washington now that he has entered the Washington bureaucracy and is playing what is called a salute role to Donald Trump? And not just in Washington, he's meddling in England. He's getting into affairs in Germany with the AFD. So how does he celebrate politics from business? Finally, India is in the news. Foreign investors are leaving in droves.
That's right.
Drop in the stocks, either it is a Nifty 50 or Sensex, by about 99%. However, the other side of it, Goldman Sachs is telling us, is that there are opportunities because local investors are also moving in. How that works out remains to be seen, but we're told that foreign investors are more interested in the treasury yields now that it is more profitable to invest in bonds in the United States. Well, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.